Welcome to the Global Reader. Today, we are celebrating a life that transcended sport, a name whispered with reverence and awe across every continent. Pelé. Born Edson Arantes do Nascimento, this Brazilian prodigy rose from the most humble of beginnings to become the face of football, perhaps the most popular individual athlete the world has ever known. His story is not just one of goals and championships, but often precedented skill, global ascension, and the sheer joy he brought to millions. We will explore the triumphs that crowned him the king. Our English focus today is mastering superlative adjectives. Superlatives are used to compare three or more things and identify the best, worst, tallest, smallest, or most important item in a group. By listening to this story, you will hear countless examples of how to use words like greatest, youngest, most influential, fastest, and most memorable to describe the highest level of achievement. This structure is the easiest way to make strong, unforgettable statements in English. Chapter 1. The humble roots of the youngest star. Pelé's journey began in Três Corações, a small city in the state of Minas Gerais, Brazil. His early life was defined by poverty, making his eventual rise to fame all the more inspiring. His family could barely afford basic necessities. When he moved with his parents to Bauru, his first real exposure to the beautiful game came not on immaculate pitches, but on dusty, uneven streets. He and his friends often played using a sock stuffed with newspaper or grapefruit, as a proper leather football was the most expensive item they could imagine. His father, Dindinho, himself, a moderately successful footballer whose career was curtailed by injury, was Pelé's most important mentor. Dindinho taught him the fundamentals, encouraging a dedication and discipline that would later become legendary. The most challenging part of his childhood was the pressure of being poor, but this hardship also forged his unshakable will to succeed. He was the hardest worker on any street team, always striving to be better, faster, and stronger than his peers. His raw talent was the clearest sign that he was destined for something extraordinary. By his early teens, his prowess was becoming undeniable. Waldemar de Brito, a former Brazilian international, recognized Pelé's unmistakable skill and offered him a trial at Santos FC, a major club in São Paulo state. De Brito's promise to the Santos directors was bold. This boy will be the greatest footballer in the world. Pelé signed with Santos in 1956, at the tender age of 15. Within a year, he had earned a starting spot on the senior squad. At 16, he became the top scorer in the league. His fastest rise was truly astonishing. It was clear that Santos had secured the most precious jewel in Brazilian football. Neither player in the history of the club had shown such immediate impact and maturity. Chapter 2. The youngest champion and global acclaim. The moment that truly launched Pelé from national sensation to global icon came in 1958 at the FIFA World Cup in Sweden. At just 17 years old, he was the youngest player in the tournament. He was not originally in the starting lineup, having suffered a minor injury, but his crucial contribution came later. In the quarter-final match against Wales, Pelé scored the only goal, a strike-off breathtaking ingenuity that showed his ability to improvise in tight spaces. This goal was, for many, the first real taste of the magic possessed. Then came the semi-final against France. Pelé delivered his most dominant performance to date, scoring a stunning hat-trick, 3 goals in a single match. It was a dazzling display of speed, agility, and power. The French defense, considered the strongest in the tournament, was simply overwhelmed. The final against the hosts, Sweden, cemented his legendary status. Brazil won 5-2, and Pelé scored 2 memorable goals. The first, a breathtaking piece of sublime finesse, involved flicking the ball over a defender's head and volleying it into the net. This specific goal is often cited as one of the greatest goals ever scored in World Cup history. Brazil was crowned world champion for the first time, and the youngest player had been their driving force. Pelé left Sweden with an injury, but with the highest acclaim a footballer could ever hope for. This World Cup established a new standard for what a young player could achieve, setting the most challenging precedent for future generations of players. He was not simply a star, he was now the most celebrated champion in the world. Chapter 3. Dominance, versatility, and the unmatched feat. Following the 1958 World Cup, Pelé entered a period of unparalleled dominance that lasted for over a decade. His club, Santos FC, became a global juggernaut. They were not just a team, but a traveling spectacle known worldwide as the best club side on earth. Because there was no major league competition across Europe and South America at the time, Santos traveled extensively, playing exhibition matches across dozens of countries, from Africa to Asia, to showcase their phenomenon. Pelé's skill set was perhaps the most complete in football history. He was not only an outstanding goal scorer, but also a brilliant playmaker and a master tactician. Speed. He possessed the quickest acceleration over short distances, allowing him to leave defenders trailing. Heading. Despite not being the tallest player, his vertical leap and timing meant he scored some of the most powerful headers. Passing. He had the best vision on the field, delivering precise assists that created scoring opportunities for his teammates. Balance and evasion. His versatility was legendary. His technique evasion, the ability to keep the ball despite being tackled, was the most effective tool in his arsenal. This combination of skills made him the most difficult player to mark. Defenders would often resort to illegal tactics, fouling him severely to stop his advances. Despite this brutal treatment, Pelé was remarkably resilient, demonstrating incredible stamina and determination to always return to the field. The most significant feat of his career came on November 19, 1969, when scored his 1,000th career goal, a milestone unmatched by any other professional. The match against Vasco da Gama was stopped for a jubilee as fans and reporters flooded the pitch to celebrate. This goal was the climax of his scoring prowess and remains the most talked-about individual record in the sport. His most consistent performance across all competitions solidifies his place as the greatest goalscorer of his era. Chapter 4, The Greatest Triumph of 1970 and the Unforgettable Legacy After the disappointing 1962 and 1966 World Cups, where he was injured and fouled out of the tournament. The 1970 World Cup in Mexico was set to Pelé's final and most dramatic opportunity for international glory. Brazil fielded what many observers consider the greatest team of all time, a squad overflowing with talent, including Jairzinho, Rivellino, and Tostão. In this tournament, Pelé didn't need to score the most goals to be the most influential player. Instead, he functioned as the master strategist and unrivaled playmaker. His most memorable contribution was often the pass before the final pass. The final, against Italy, was a demonstration of Brazilian brilliance. Pelé opened the scoring with a powerful header, the highest jump and most precise timing in the penalty area. This goal was a perfect example of his aerial ability. He then provided crucial assists for 2 more goals, controlling the rhythm of the game with supreme authority. Most defining moment of the match, and perhaps of the tournament, was the 4th goal, scored by Carlos Alberto. It started with a brilliant collective move and ended with Pelé delivering the perfect, most gentle pass into the path of the onrushing captain, who slammed the ball home. It was the most beautiful display of teamwork ever seen in a World Cup final. Winning the 1970 World Cup gave Pelé the most unique achievement in football. He became the only player in history to win 3 World Cup championships. This unmatched record is the clearest evidence of his legacy as the undisputed king of football. He retired from international play shortly after, leaving at the absolute pinnacle of his career. Chapter 5, The Ambassadorial Icon and Enduring Influence. In 1974, Pelé officially retired from club football, but the story was not over. The United States was eager to popularize the sport, and in 1975, the New York Cosmos made him an offer he could not refuse, the highest salary ever paid to an athlete at the time. His move to America was the most consequential transfer in the history of North American soccer. His arrival in New York transformed the league, boosting attendance and attracting other aging European stars. While his play may not have been the fastest or the most dynamic of his youth, his presence was the most powerful marketing tool the game had ever seen in the U.S. He played his final official match in 1977, an iconic exhibition game between the Cosmos and Santos, during which he played one half for each team. After his retirement, Pelé's role shifted for that of global ambassadorial figure. he became the most influential voice in promoting the game worldwide and advocating for social causes. He served as a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador and was a champion for the rights of the poor in Brazil. His universal appeal made him the most admired sportsman globally, transcending political and cultural barriers. He received countless honors, including being voted the Player of the Century by FIFA. The unanimous acclaim he received from former rivals, teammates, and media underscored the immensity of his impact. He was the single most important figure in making football the global game it is today. His legacy is not just in the goals he scored, but in the millions of children he inspired to pick up a ball and dream. His commercial success through various endorsements further proved his status as a cultural icon. Even decades after his retirement, Pelé remained the most recognized name in football, a symbol of skill, passion, and true sportsmanship. His life is a testament to the idea that talent, when coupled with the deepest dedication, can truly change the world. Conclusion: the most important lesson in the story of Pelé is the story of a boy who achieved the unthinkable, becoming the most decorated athlete in his sport. He left behind a legacy that is the brightest example of what is possible through skill and perseverance. For English learners, you have no must read superlative adjectives, the most powerful tool in English for making comparisons. You have heard the correct use of phrase like the greatest goal scorer, the youngest champion, and the most influential ambassador. Remember that superlatives always use the and either the est ending for short adjectives like fast/fastest or most, for long adjectives like influential, most influential. Use these forms to express your opinions with the highest confidence and clarity.